Good evening, students. So, welcome back to our online sessions. So, as you know, I am Syed Fasiyuddin from EC department from ISL Engineering College, working as an assistant professor. So, in today's sessions, I am going to teach you the more clarity about your subject. That is, Unit 1, we are going to discuss the concepts related to the digital signal processing and its application. In the Unit 1, till now we covered the Z transform, the properties of Z transform, and how the Z transform can be used, and where actually the Z transform is being used in our digital signal processing. So basically, we covered the linearity property, we covered the advance and delay, we covered scaling, and we covered how do we going to go for the folding. All the properties we covered in our previous session. In today's session, also students, I am going to teach you the topic related to your Z transform and some more topic we are going to discuss and how the Z transform is being useful. And apart from Z transform, we already covered the discrete Fourier transform and inverse discrete Fourier transform and problem related to your discrete transforms. Okay, so these concepts we already have covered. So this is our sixth session of the unit 1. So in today's sessions, I am going to teach you the more concepts what we do have in the unit 1. So students, so we are continuing with our topic of discussion. In today's sessions, we are going to discuss analysis of discrete linear time invariant system. So this can be done by using two methods. One is the convolution sum method, another is the differential equation method. Okay, so we are going to discuss these two types of methods, how it is useful for our linear time invariant system for discrete form. So for that particular thing, what actually we are learning, students. So in this method, our main discussion is with this topic. So this is our complete discussion. So in this, what we are learning, students. So we are seeing that this method is useful for linear systems. So what is LSI? It stands for linear system invariants, or LTI. This is called linear time invariant system. So basically, in this method, we are going to decompose input signal into two sum of elementary signals. So as you can see here in this, x of n and h of n, I am using two type of signal. X of n having n number of samples, h of n having a capital M number of samples. If you want to find total number of maximum samples, that I can find by using the formula of m plus n minus 1. Okay, this is equals to the output y of n. When we want to find out the convolution of these two particular signals, that can be formed by using this particular signal. Y of n is equals to x of n convolves with h of n. If you want to remove this convolution, you can write in discrete form. Discrete means, always remember students, discrete means summation, continuous with integration. Okay, so whenever we talk about discrete types of signals, we have to keep k is equals to minus infinity to infinity x of k. What is, why I am writing k, students? Because our conversion, your whatever signal x of n, h of n, whatever we do have, we are converting n domain signal into k domain signal in discrete time invariant or discrete system of invariant. Okay, so for that particular thing, we are using linear convolution of x of n convolves with h of n, can be written as x of k into h of n minus k. Okay, so why n minus k? This is called it as delayed function. So whatever function we are using, we are folding and we are making the delay of that particular sequence. Okay, so or else we can write summation x k is equal to 0 to minus infinity x of k h of n minus k, or h of, if I take minus common in this expression, what I can write, see here, h of n minus k is here, right? I'm taking negative outside. Why I'm taking? Because I want to take the folding concept. Because of that, I'm writing the negative sign outside. So for that particular sequence, we are mentioning in that way. Okay, so for this particular part, we are using a method 1. What is a method 1 for doing this graphical part by this convolution? I'm using a graphical method. So you already have seen this particular part when you want to design signal and system convolution problems. It's similar to that only. So in this also, we're going to use that one. To solve the problems related to the graphical presentation, students, so there are certain steps we need to follow. First step is that, students, we need to find number of samples. N is equals to n of x plus n of h is equals to minus 1. That means the starting index of x of n and plus starting index of h of n, we have to combine and we have to write down that particular value. For example, as you can see, this is my h of n, right, starting from 0th position. This is my which position, student? As you can see here, minus 0 is here, 0 and minus 1. This is my minus 1, right? What about this n? This starting from h of n is what? what is this arrow indicate? It indicates the zeroth position. Zeroth position, first position. Here -1, -2. So this are what actually the position value whatever we want to write. Whereas in this is my zeroth position. Arrow mark slightly it is moved this side, but it is coming. It is there for the one only. So this is zero position. This is first position. This is -1 and -2 position. Okay. First we have to take the particular position value and we can proceed ahead with that form. So what is the question given in that? H of n is given, x of n is given. This is a numerical problem, students. So they asked to find y of n. So how do we get y of n? To get the y of n, first we have to take the index value n is equals to n of x plus n of h. This is what positions, whatever we do have, we have to take that one. So once we design the position, we have to write the output y of n, right? So y of n is starting from, what is the first position we need to write, students? So it is starting from -1. Why -1? Because your m plus n -1. This is a sample, right? What is the position here? I'll show you here. So students, we had h of n 1, 2, 1, -1. This position is 0, 1 and 2. This is -1. H of n starting from -1 position. So here h of n, when you want to write starting from this n, right? This is what? -1 position. Suppose this is my h of n, this is my x of n, anyone. If you see this position value, what I can write for this? This is 0th position. This is first position. This is second position. What about this? This is what? -1 position. So this is my m sample, right? This is my m sample. What about this h of n? This is my n sample. So the n sample, where is the arrow mark is there for that? If I want to write the arrow mark for this, starting from C at the end, 1, 2, 3, 1, starting from at first one. So what I can write? This arrow mark is not here. It's starting from first part. So first let me just erase it, and then actually arrow mark is there from the first end. So suppose the arrow mark is here, right? This indicates this is which position value, students? This is 0th position. This is first position. This is second position, and this is my third position, right? So for that, what actually I'm writing, students? So I'm writing this is my m value, right? So what is m value I can write? So to write the m value, I need to mention both the positions. So for that, what I can write? I will try to write that position value. So for that, what I can write? I will take both the positions and I try to write the functions. So for that, what I can write? I try to find out the solution of it by considering the first sequence. So first and second position, both the values I need to write. For that, what I am writing, students? So I am taking, as we are proceeding with the problem. So students, so this is what we do have first sequence 1, 2, 1, -1, second sequence 1, 2, 3, 1. So as you can see here, so I am using this one and this one. So what is the position value starting from? This is the position value we do have. This is the 0th position. This is 0th position. This is first position. This is second position, and this is your third position. So these are our position values we do have. Here also 0, 1, 2, 3. What is the m value I can write here? If I want to write this value in terms of m, what I can write? I'll write starting from 0 for the m, plus n is also starting from 0, and that is what? -1. So this is what? -1. So what is the answer for this will be? This answer would be -1. So starting from -1. That's the reason here, as you can see, the graph starting from the -1, -1. Clear? Similarly, now second step is to find out the y of n. To get the y of n, this is -1, so on till whatever the values we do have. So we need to find the convolution. So how do we find convolution? We have to take the graphical representation for it. So we know that from the signal and system classes, we can draw the graph by changing the position, by putting the folding on left hand side. If you do that, you will get this answer. Clear? So this is how you can try it, and you can check from there the graphical representation of convolution. Similarly, by mathematical formula, how do we design? By using the mathematical formula. For designing this one, what I'll take matrix form. This is my x values, this is my y values, right? X and y I need to multiply. For that, I need to multiply first one h1 x1 with h1 x2 h1 x3. This is my values, right? This one. Similarly, for the second one, what I can write? I'll write h2 x1. If I multiply h2 with x1, h2 x1, this is what? h2 x2. This is what? h3 x3, right? Similarly, for this one, what I can write? h3 x1. Third row, first column, like this. Third row, second column. Third row, third column. So this is the way we can represent the values. Similarly, by using the simple multiplication formula method, it's simple only. We need to take x value and y value. We need to cross multiply. So these are the three methods to simplify the linear convolution. So what are the properties do we have, student? What are the things we have seen in the linear convolution? We have seen that the linear convolution has input x of n, that is called excited input signal, and similarly we do have y of n, that is output response. Then we do have h of n, that is unit sample response. So we do have these three samples. So by considering these three samples, we are going to find out the output of the given sequence. Now what are the properties it has? It has associative law, it has the commutative law, and it has a distributive law. So what is associative law? It is all about, associative law is all about when we take the x of n multiply with h of n. A into b is equals to b into a. This is called commutative law. In a normal multiplication of any numbers or the properties of maths, we know that from maths that a into b is equals to b into a. The same way I'm writing h of n, x of n. Anyway you can multiply with x of n and h of n with x of n. You will get the same answer as that particular values. Similarly for the next one, associative law. What is associative law? A into b of c is equals to a into b into c. Like this, if you multiply three signals, we can get that particular form. So as we had h1, h2, we are multiplying with x of n. So h of n is equals to h1 of n into h2 of n. So this is what your, which law? Commutative law, associative law, and then we do have distributive law. A into b plus c is equals to a into b plus a into c. So in that form, I am writing a as x of n, b as h1 of n, c as h2 of n. By considering this one, I can represent the given sequence in this form. Similarly, I do have next concept, that is called causal. How the system, linear invariant system, how can you say it is a causal system? We need to write that particular causal system and we need to write the output response for that. So basically, definition of causal system is what, students? So what? It says that the output of causal systems depends upon the present input as well as the past inputs. So whenever we get this kind of response where the input depends upon present as well as the past, that is considered to be the causal system. So where n is equals to n naught depends upon inputs x of n. When n less than or equals to n naught, that linear convolution is given by this formula. So already you know, right? Just now we did the convolution, linear convolution. So y of n is equals to summation h of k into x of n minus k, where n is equals to n naught is the initial condition. So if you rearrange that one, if you want to write in that particular format by considering n naught, what is n naught? If I am putting wherever n is n naught, so what I will write? Y of n naught is equals to first this input value by replacing h of n naught plus starting from 0 to infinity, from minus 1 to minus infinity. Why minus 1? Because we took a negative value, right? From that given sample space, m plus n minus 1 here. By considering this is our sample space, by taking that particular form, we can say that this is having that particular sample space. Clear? So for that we need to represent in that particular form. For representing that one, we will write in that way. Clear? So this is that particular response we do have. By considering that response, we are going to write that answer. And that's how we can write the representation of the causal system. So let's see the next concept. Causal means what, students? So the system which depends upon the present input and the past input, that is called causal system. Next one, stability of linear system, linear invariant system or linear static invariant system, or linear system or invariance. That is also the same meaning. In this, what you can write for this? I can write that a system is said to be stable if every bonded input produce a bounded output. So BIBO, bonded input, bonded output. In this such scenario, we can say that the system is said to be the stable system. Okay, y of n, if you want to write, this is the y of n formula. Y of n is equal to same by taking the minus infinity to plus infinity. If you put a mod on that, we can able to find the value. What is a mod? Negative value also we will make it as positive. In order to get that one, in order to make that particular situation, we are getting the y of n. Similarly, mod of that we can write it down. So this is the way we can represent the given system is said to be the what? Stable system, when we get the bounded input and bounded output. So for k is equals to minus infinity to infinity, h of k, whatever the value of h of k we do have, if you take that one, if you take the modulus of that, that should be less than infinity. When this condition satisfied, the system is said to be the stable. The equation, whatever the above equation is there, that should satisfy for the linear system of invariance. So that is what the self study of the equation. So student, next concept we do have is correlation. So basically, whenever I am telling this concept, these are very important as per the examination point of view. They will give us each signal and they will ask to obtain the given system, is it verification, if it is verified for the causal, stable, whether it is depends upon the present input, past input, previous input. All these kind of scenario you need to obtain. Causality, your stability, whether it is causal or non-causal, whether the system is linear or non-linear, whether the given system perform the linearity or not, whether the system is invariant or variant. These all questions they will ask in the one particular form. So you should also know all these things. So try to maintain the running notes so that the formulas will become easy for you whenever you try to solve these kind of problems. You can easily do it if you maintain the running notes on that. So this is the way the system has been designed for that particular linearity. This all are there in a unit 1. Okay, linear convolution by graphical methods, and we do have a circular convolution as well. So I will show you the circular convolution with the problems. So linear convolution already you are aware of with the graphical methods. So now, so we are proceeding with the correlation properties. So basically what is a correlation is all about. So now we will going to see that correlation concepts. So basically it is what actually it is a frequency. It is a frequency necessary to establish similarity between one set of data and another. So because basically whatever we are going to write, we will write in the frequency format. It is a frequently necessary to establish one set of data into another. It means we would like to correlate. We will try to find out the relation of each and every one. The correlation is closely related to convolution, but a slightly difference is there in that. What is that? In convolution, because of the correlation is essentially convoluted by two data sequence in which one of the sequence has to be reverse. So that means when you find the convolution, one sequence will make it as reverse. Actually, where we'll use this correlation? If you know the application, it will be easy for you to understand the correlation concept. It image processing for robotic vision. So whenever we want to find any robotic vision, when you want to find the kind of vision of the robots, we will try to find out by using this particular concept. And in satellite communications, where we want to go for the sensors, whatever we use, in which data from one different image is compared. So when you try to compare the images, because the satellite we try to find out the obstacles and everything. So based upon that, we try to write that equation.